Welcome, human being. I'll try to read this book, and if it helps you too, join me because it helps me a lot. This book is written for you, the presence process. I'm starting with this being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and attend them all, even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. This presence process, we have some pages to read, and then there's a 10 weeks of breathing every day, morning and night, with a consciousness response, having a mind. Where should I start? By reawakening? Yeah. Or maybe, no, earlier, preface. After doing integrative breathwork for over 35 years and leading the largest breathing school on the planet, I was introduced to begin the presence process about a year ago. After going through the first 2 cycles, I realized that the presence process is the missing link in integrative breathwork. Yeah, anyone that tries healing, at some points, that's at least in my experience, I realize there's a big gap. I have realizations, but I also have lower parts in me, and they're somehow not connected. And in the presence process, still didn't finish my first cycle, but somehow till now what I kind of find is, let me not put in my parts. Let's go to the book. It was a pleasant gift and honor to preview Michael Brown's new edition of the presence process, and those my 3rd round using this new text. Should I continue with this one, or I should just go right away to Reawakening from Michael Brown himself, I think. Let me see. Yeah, let's start with him. It's deeply satisfying to know that the presence process is available to you. This process is designed to accommodate anyone who chooses to reconnect with our shared presence. The process is safe, gentle, and simple to follow. The benefits are real and the effects lasting. The presence process is a guided journey that provides the practical techniques and perceptual tools required to extract our attention from the trappings of a time-based mentality. Allowing us to gradually re-enter the present moment in which our experience is unfolding. Our existence is not meant to be stressful. We're just trapped in a time-based mentality. Is that the words? Yeah. And with this process, we kind of learn how to extract our attention from this mentality. The present process is the result of a quest that consciously began in the Arizona desert in 1996. I was here, possibly for the first time since early childhood, that I reunited with my authentic beingness. Authentic beingness. And experienced the profound radiance of such communion. Throughout this text, I refer to this authentic beingness as presence, and call the radiant experience that becomes possible when this divine essence takes the reins, I'm not sure how you say it, of our life. It's called the present moment awareness. Authentic beingness. Presence. Before these encounters with my beingness, for almost 10 years, I had been preoccupied with the task of coping with and healing myself of an actual, painful, neurological condition called Hartone's. I hope I say it the right way. Hartone's syndrome. This condition, which started in 1987, manifested as multiple daily occurrence of excruciating, don't laugh at me, agony. It isn't necessary for me to go into detail. I guess when I don't know how to say a word, I'll just try to skip it. Good idea? Shh, don't tell anymore. Of the symptoms, other than to share that it was informed by one of South America's leading people, I guess, that this has no known cause or cure. So basically, he was suffering physically, and this person, he also warned me, because of the severity of my condition, I was a candidate for drug addiction and even suicide. That's how painful it is. So, in an attempt to find relief, I first used a variety of prescription medications. As my depression increased, I explored a wide variety of alternative stuff, exposing myself to anything that promised a chance of healing. This included having cortisone injected in my face. I don't know what that is, but it sounds scary. The removal of my wisdom teeth. Visiting a South African Kusho Shanagamba, I don't know how to say it, and many fascinating encounters with healers. Nothing brought relief, release, or resolution. In 1994, after years of pursuing endless modalities that led nowhere, I was confronted with the possibility that nothing and nobody out there could take away my suffering. My options at this point were either to check out or check in. Since I wasn't yet ready to die, I embarked on a quest to heal myself. No one out there, no healers, no medicines from inside. This began with a study of Swedish massage and qualifying as a Reiki master. As I experimented on myself with various physical, mental, and emotional techniques, I discovered that when I maintained what I called a high personal energy frequency, when he maintained this high frequency, I lessened the intensity of my pain and the rate of its reoccurrence substantially. This was the first whisper of what I now call present moment awareness. My first significant encounter with presence and the radiance of presence moment awareness came in 1996 in a Native American sweat lodge in Tucson, Arizona. Throughout the guidance of a Yaqui Indian medicine man, I shall never forget crawling out of the sweat lodge doorway on my hands and knees after a 2-hour journey throughout heat, steam, drumming, singing, and praying. As I stood there in the cool night air, everything in and around me vibrated with life. As if I had just been born. This particular moment was my first taste of what felt like to show up in my life. Checking in. After exiting the sweat lodge, I stood by the crackling fire. In reverent silence. Reverent? Remaining long into the night, feeling warm blood flowing through my veins, crisp breath massaging my lungs, and the comforting rhythm of my heartbeat. For hours afterward, I experienced direct connection with presence and the radiance of this beingness vibrating in every cell of my physical body. Which I now began to understand as simple a vehicle for the manifestation of presence. In fact, I often refer to this body, to the body of our body vehicle. I often refer to the body as our body vehicle. So when I use the word body in this text, it's in the sense of the body as a vehicle. Body, vehicle, body, vehicle. My second encounter with the presence and presence moment awareness came a few months later, facilitated by ingesting a tea brewed from peyote cactus. Peyote is one of the most alkaline substances on the planet. It's also undisputedly one of the fullest tasting liquids my mouth ever encountered. Native Americans who ingest this plant as a sacrament in their Native American church ceremonies refer to it as the medicine. My initial experience of ingesting the medicine was profound. After an hour of increasing discomfort and nausea, I awoke as if from a deep and dark dream. And he awoke into an experience of present moment awareness. Although it was only fleeting, I experienced the undeniable sense of wholeness that comes from connecting intimately with the presence. I felt physically present, mentally clear, emotionally balanced, and vibrantly in tune. As with my initial sweat lodge experience, being able to feel and consciously commune with presence throughout this peyote experience reunited me with the precious part of my authentic nature that had been obscured by the noise, busyness, and distractions of daily life. The peyote enabled me to step through a perpetual veil, perceptual veil, on the other side of which life reveals itself as connected by a single, intimate, intelligent, shared presence. Out from the busy mind of thinking into realizing and being part of the whole presence, the shared presence. I saw how the breathtaking, luminous beauty of the natural world is hidden from us because of our preoccupation with unintegrated past trauma and fearful future projections. Let's say over this line, I saw how the breathtaking, luminous beauty of the natural world is hidden from us because our preoccupation with unintegrated past trauma and fearful future projections. In that moment, I became aware that my painful condition was no mere chance, but it was purposeful. My painful neurological condition revealed itself not as my enemy, but as my friend and facilitator. It was presence calling me back from a state in which I had unconsciously attached my attention to the mental web of time, causing my attention to become scattered. Presence is calling him back from the state of mental web of time which he unconsciously decided to attend. He was resting as in time. He was getting more and more stuck in there, staying there. And presence is calling him back to self. To here, to the now, to awareness. During this encounter with the medicine, it became obvious that the most important quest I could undertake would be to discover a practical way to increase my experience of present moment awareness, unless I discovered a means of accomplishing this for myself. My usefulness To others what remained limited because I was inauthentic. Unless I would discovered a way of accomplishing this for himself, then my usefulness to others would remain limited because I wasn't authentic. Yeah. It was also apparent that experiences such as sweat lodge and peyote aren't for everyone. The mechanisms of a journey into present moment awareness have to be as natural as possible, a pathway anyone could follow, no matter what their circumstances. Hence, one of the questions I asked presence. He asked presence. The question was, how can present moment awareness be achieved primarily through inner work instead of having to rely on external conditions, substance, tools, ceremony, rites, probably rituals. No, it's two stuff. Ritus and rituals. The first clue to achieving this was relevant the same year. I was introduced to the obvious but somehow overlooked technique of consciously connected breathing. CCB. Is that what they call it? Consciously connected breathing. Consciously connected breathing is the practice of breathing deliberately without a significant pause between our in-breath and our out-breath. In other words, there are no breathless gaps between breaths. I'm not sure if that's the way you have to breathe. I'm just doing it right now, this way. After my first few consciously connected breathing sessions, I realized that using this modality produced an increasing sense of well-being gained through enhanced personal presence. So easy. So simple. Also, for reasons I didn't then comprehend it, this breathing led to a gradual but consistent decrease in the intensity of my physical pain. For the first time in many years, I experienced a glimmer of hope for a genuine resolution of the Harutans syndrome from which I was suffering. Harutans. These breathing sessions also produced a explosive insights. For example, by enabling me to experience moments of detachment from the going on daily life routine. This natural breathing practice helped me realize the difference between what presence is and what my unfolding human experience. Discern the distinct difference between what presence is and my unfolding human experience. I hadn't possessed the perceptual capacity to identify this difference before commencing consciously connected breathing. I was so enmeshed in my day-to-day experience that what I was going through had become the be-all and end-all of what I identified with. As a consequence of using this breathing technique, I began noticing that whenever I encountered presence, I knew a wholeness and completeness of being. So my reading is not so good, sorry, but what he says is, before doing this, all he saw that he is was his into here day-to-day experience, and doing consciously breathing, he knew a wholeness and a completeness of being. This was an experience of